In the world of motorcycles, some machines were built to conquer the racetrack. Others were crafted to turn heads with sheer style and swagger. But then, there's a rare breed, the kind that doesn't just test your riding skills, it tests your instinct to survive. This isn't a list of the fastest, the rarest, or the most expensive bikes ever made. No, this is about danger. These are the 12 most dangerous motorcycles ever built. Brutal, unpredictable, and sometimes downright deadly. From unruly two-stroke dirt bikes of the 1970s to turbine-powered beasts that sound like jet engines, these machines mark a darker chapter in motorcycle history, where raw power outran control, and every ride could be your last. Still feel brave? You're about to meet the monsters that never cared whether you made it home. Number 12. Suzuki TM400 Cyclone. If you rode motocross in the early 1970s, you either feared the Suzuki TM400 Cyclone or you hadn't ridden one yet. On paper, it looked promising. A lightweight, high-revving two-stroke with a single-cylinder 393 cubic centimeter engine and 40 horsepower. But in practice, it was a wild animal with no leash and no interest in your well-being. The power delivery wasn't just abrupt, it was explosive. The TM400 had a notoriously narrow power band, meaning all that torque, around 35 pound-feet, came flooding in all at once. 1 second, you were fighting to stay upright. The next, the front wheel was in the air or the rear tire was sliding out from under you. Add to that a stiff chassis, poor rebound damping, and primitive suspension. And what you got was chaos on knobby tires. Hit a jump wrong or throttle mid-corner, and you'd be airborne in ways you didn't plan. It didn't take long for the Cyclone to earn a brutal reputation. High sides, broken bones, and yard sales were par for the course. This wasn't just a tough bike to ride, it was a test of survival. And most riders failed. Number 11. Yamaha V-Max. The Yamaha V-Max wasn't built for finesse. It wasn't built to corner. It was built to dominate straight lines and scare the hell out of anyone who twisted the throttle too hard. At the heart of the V-Max was a liquid-cooled 1,679 cubic centimeter V4 engine, pumping out 174 horsepower and a staggering 113 pound-feet of torque. That might sound like fun, until you realize the power didn't ease in. It slammed down from the moment you cracked the throttle. Weighing in at a hefty 683 pounds fully fueled, the V-Max wasn't exactly nimble. Low-speed maneuvering felt like wrestling a bear. Tight turns, a gamble, parking lots, downright stressful. And once you got it moving, changing direction took commitment and muscle. The frame tried to hold it together, but at high speeds, stability was more of a suggestion than a guarantee. And if you treated the throttle like a toy, the V-Max had a lesson to teach. Fast, brutal, and unforgettable. It wasn't a cruiser. It wasn't a sport bike. It was a drag machine disguised for the street. And unless you respected it, it didn't care how experienced you were. It would chew you up just the same. Number 10. Honda CX500 Turbo. In the early 1980s, turbochargers were the next big thing, and Honda's CX500 Turbo looked like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. Angular fairings, bold graphics, and fuel injection. It promised tomorrow's performance today. But when riders twisted the throttle, they got more than they bargained for. The heart of the machine was a 497 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin, boosted by a turbo. On paper, 82 horsepower sounded thrilling, especially compared to the naturally aspirated version. But here's the problem. All that power didn't arrive gradually. It hit like a trapdoor opening beneath your rear tire. Turbo lag was massive. At low RPMs, the bike felt sluggish. Then suddenly, bam, the boost kicked in, and the chassis wasn't ready. Mid-corner or over rough pavement, that surprise surge was a recipe for disaster. The suspension couldn't keep up. The rear end danced. Controls slipped away. At 570 pounds wet, the CX500 Turbo wasn't light, and when the power finally arrived, it didn't ask if you were ready. It just took over. Honda chased the future, but in doing so, they built a bike that punished hesitation and exposed every flaw in rider timing. Ride it wrong, and the future came fast. Too fast. Number 9. Kawasaki GPZ 750 Turbo. When Kawasaki rolled out the GPZ 750 Turbo in the mid-80s, it wasn't just trying to join the turbo craze, it wanted to end it. With 112 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque, it blew past most production bikes of its era. But its real legacy? Teaching riders just how dangerous sudden power can be. At first, the GPZ felt tame, smooth, predictable. You'd lean into a corner thinking everything was under control, and then the turbo spooled up. Instantly, the back wheel broke loose, the chassis twisted, and your safe turn became a high-speed panic drill. The lag between throttle input and power delivery was deceptive. It lulled riders into confidence, then hit them with a boost punch when they least expected it. At around 580 pounds, the bike wasn't featherweight, and the frame and brakes just couldn't keep up with the violence of the engine. The suspension? Underwhelming. Under stress, it flexed and bounced, making high-speed stability more dream than reality. The GPZ 750 Turbo didn't scare you with top speed. It scared you with how it got there. Fast, unannounced, and always one step ahead of your reflexes. Number 8. Kawasaki H2 Mach IV 750. Long before modern superbikes took over, there was the Kawasaki H2 Mach IV 750. And if you were around in the early 70s, you already know the nickname Widowmaker. It didn't earn that name in theory, it earned it on the pavement. This wasn't your average street bike. It was a 748 cubic centimeter, two-stroke triple with 74 horsepower and 57 pound-feet of torque. Numbers that were outrageous for the time. But what really made it lethal was how that power arrived, instantly and violently. One twist of the throttle and the front wheel was airborne before your brain had time to react. At just 450 pounds, the bike was light, but not in a good way. The frame offered almost no feedback. The forks were basic, the swing arm barely functional, and when the road curved, the H2 didn't follow, it fought. Corners turned into coin tosses. High-speed runs became survival drills, and for riders who weren't 100% dialed in, the result was often brutal. The H2 wasn't built to forgive, it was built to dominate. And for too many, it did exactly that, right up to the point where the ride ended in flashing lights and sirens. Number 7. Suzuki TL1000S. On paper, the Suzuki TL1000S looked like a dream. A 996 cubic centimeter, 90-degree V-twin, 125 horsepower, and 78 pound-feet of torque in a lightweight 450-pound frame. It had attitude, grunt, and that raw, mechanical thump V-twin lovers crave. But underneath that sharp bodywork was a ticking time bomb. Suzuki ditched the traditional rear shock and instead used a rotary damper, an odd choice meant to save space. The problem? It couldn't dissipate heat. Under pressure, it faded fast, and once it lost damping, the rear end got wild, unpredictable, unstable, and downright scary. High-speed cornering often triggered vicious tank slappers, sending handlebars into a violent shake that even seasoned riders couldn't always recover from. The frame flexed more than expected, especially on exit. 1 second, you were powering out of a turn, the next, you were fighting to stay upright. It got so bad, Suzuki had to issue a recall and retrofit a steering damper. But by then, the damage was done. The TL1000S had earned its reputation, not as a thrilling V-twin, but as a bike that fought back when you pushed too hard. And when it slapped, it didn't play nice. Number 6. Kawasaki Ninja H2. The Kawasaki Ninja H2 isn't just fast, it's supercharged insanity wrapped in carbon fiber. With a 998 cubic centimeter inline-4 and forced induction, it cranks out up to 228 horsepower with ram air. That kind of power isn't just aggressive, it's overwhelming. Twist the throttle and the bike doesn't build speed. It lunges. Hard. The torque hits early, 98 pound-feet of it, and keeps coming. There's no soft spot, no forgiveness. Just raw, relentless thrust from the moment you breathe on the grip. At 525 pounds wet, the H2 isn't exactly light. That weight helps its speed, but becomes a liability in the city. Low-speed turns feel heavy. Panic braking becomes an exercise in trust. And if you dare open it up on the street, you'd better be laser-focused, because this bike doesn't wait for your reflexes to catch up. Legally, it's street-approved. Practically, it has no business in traffic. The throttle is twitchy, the boost is instant, and every input feels like a challenge. The Ninja H2 wasn't built to make you comfortable. It was built to test your control. And if you hesitate just once, it won't hesitate to punish you for it. Number 5. Yamaha YZF-R1M. The Yamaha YZF-R1M isn't just fast, it's surgical. Born from MotoGP DNA, it packs a 998 cubic centimeter crossplane crank, inline-4 engine pushing 197 horsepower and 83 pound-feet of torque. But this isn't brute strength. It's precision on a razor's edge. Weighing just 450 pounds wet, the R1M feels like a scalpel in your hands. But that's where the danger lies. It responds to every input, immediately, unforgivingly. A slight mistake on corner entry, the rear tire slips. Shift your weight mid-corner, the whole chassis reacts. You don't ride this bike, you pilot it like a fighter jet in traffic. The acceleration is relentless. It doesn't surge, it fires. And while the electronic rider aids are top-notch, they're not magic. They won't save you if you push past your skill level. They'll just record the data as you slide off the road. It's a track weapon disguised for the street. Every corner demands commitment. Every throttle input needs intent. The R1 million won't carry you, it expects perfection. And if you fall short, it'll let you know, fast, sharp, and without an ounce of mercy. Number 4. Ducati Panigale V4R. If the R1M is a scalpel, the Ducati Panigale V4R is a loaded gun with a hair trigger. With a 998 cubic centimeter Desmo Sedici Stradale R engine, putting down up to 234 horsepower with the race exhaust, this bike doesn't ask questions, it demands answers. And it expects you to have them now. At just 365 pounds dry, it's frighteningly light. Combine that with over 80 pound-feet of torque, delivered high in the rev range, and you've got a machine that doesn't roll on. It launches. But it's not just the power that makes the V4R so dangerous. It's the knife-edge balance between control and catastrophe. Get your electronic settings wrong, you're toast. Miss your line in a corner, high side, grab the throttle too hard on exit, rear tires gone. This bike requires precision, experience, and full focus every second. It's a race bike with a license plate, and while Ducati gave it wings, literally, they won't save you from poor judgment. The Panigale V4R doesn't care how much you paid. If you're not dialed in, it'll chew through your ego and your leathers without blinking. Number 3. MTT Y2K Turbine Superbike. Some bikes roar. This one screams like a fighter jet at full throttle, and that's because it basically is one. The MTT Y2K isn't powered by pistons. It's powered by a Rolls-Royce Allison 250C18 turbine, straight out of a helicopter. The result? 320 horsepower, 425 pound-feet of torque, and a riding experience that borders on the absurd. Throttle response is linear, yes, but don't mistake that for gentle. Twist too hard, too fast, and you're not accelerating. You're launching, and once you're moving, the sound isn't mechanical, it's primal, high-pitched, otherworldly, and terrifying. Weighing around 500 pounds, it's manageable until you factor in the heat. The exhaust can reach up to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Stand behind it for more than a second, and you'll understand why it's banned from indoor shows. No traction control, no rider aids, no second chances. This isn't a motorcycle you learn on. It's one you survive. It doesn't care how smooth your inputs are, only how committed you are. The MTT Y2K isn't just fast, it's a dare. And once you twist that throttle, there's no going back. Number 2. Kawasaki Ninja H2R. The Kawasaki Ninja H2R isn't a motorcycle. It's a controlled explosion on 2 wheels. With a supercharged 998 cubic centimeter inline 4, delivering up to 326 horsepower and 122 pound-feet of torque, it doesn't accelerate, it detonates. And if you're not ready, you'll be left in the dust or on the pavement. Dry weight sits just under 476 pounds, but don't let that fool you. This bike isn't about balance, it's about brute force. Throttle response is instant. Torque arrives like a freight train. There's no electronic nanny to hold your hand, just winglets to keep the front end from lifting into orbit. There are no mirrors, no emissions controls, no noise restrictions. It's not street legal, and for good reason. It's too loud, too fast, too unforgiving. Built purely for the track, the H2R isn't for learners, it's for warriors. Every twist of the wrist is a test of judgment. Every mistake is magnified by triple-digit speeds. This bike doesn't care about comfort or ease of use. It was built to shatter lap times and egos alike. The H2R doesn't teach you how to ride. It teaches you what happens when you push too far and still twist the throttle. Number 1. MTT Turbine Superbike 420RR. The MTT 420RR isn't just the most powerful motorcycle ever built. It might be the most dangerous two-wheeled machine to ever touch asphalt. Powered by a Rolls-Royce Allison 250C20 turbine, this monster produces a staggering 420 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. That's not bike power, that's small aircraft territory. There's no traditional transmission, just a 2-speed gearbox and a twist-and-pray throttle. Make the wrong move, and you're not riding, you're launching. Acceleration isn't aggressive, it's unhinged. A light flick of the wrist can send this 500-pound missile into triple digits before your mind catches up. And then there's the heat. The exhaust can exceed 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. Stand behind it and you'll feel it in your teeth. Get too close, you'll feel it in your skin. No traction control, no ABS, no margin for error. This isn't a bike for thrill seekers. It's a bike for professionals with a death wish or a titanium backbone. The 420RR isn't just unforgiving, it's unconcerned. It's the final word in two-wheeled insanity. And if you think you can tame it, you're already in over your head. Not every motorcycle was built to be tamed. Some were built to challenge you, to separate the bold from the careful, the skilled from the lucky. So, what about you? Have you ever ridden, or almost ridden, one of these beasts? Or is there another terrifying machine you think should have made the list? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your stories, because legends like these live on through the riders who dared to face them. If you enjoyed this wild ride, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell, because there are still plenty of untold machines out there waiting to be unleashed. Until next time, stay sharp, stay brave, and ride like your life depends on it. Because sometimes it really does.